It's a beautiful day to go take a flight out at Cherokee County Airport. Let's get this airplane pre-flighted and let's go up. The airplane I'm going to be flying in is November 2332 Echo. So the first thing you got to do is unsecure the airplane. It's been locked up and the doors are locked. So just got to take some time here and unlock the door. Get inside and get everything started for the pre-flight. So one of the first things I'm going to do is when I get in the airplane, I'm going to go ahead and start my pre-flight checklist. I go ahead and take the aileron controller off there. You saw me put it in the back seat. Get my clipboard, get my kneeboard ready. Go ahead and turn the master switches on so I can bring the flaps down and go ahead and inspect all the gearing on the flaps. Turn the master back off. So come outside the airplane, remove the pitot cover, remove the tie downs so that we can fly away. Those tie downs are real important just in case it gets real gusty out there. Keeps the airplane secure on the ground. Keeps it from blowing away. Go ahead and check the leading edge. No dents over 1/4 of an inch. Go ahead and go out to the edge of the wing and inspect the lights. So the best way to start is from one side of the aircraft and go to the other. That's what I do here. Let's go ahead and make sure the static pitot is uncovered. A lot of bugs like to get down in the hole there. Come out to the edge, like I said, to look at the bulbs, make sure they're good. Bring up the aileron in the up position, make sure there's 3 weights there. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Looks good to me. Go ahead and make sure that the attachment to the aileron looks good. And then go ahead and finish the pre-flight. Take the chocks off. Just do my triple checking here. Go along every surface. It's very important to triple and quadruple check before you take off in an airplane. They are big flying pieces of metal, but they're safe flying pieces of metal if you do your job right. So checking the elevator, checking the rudder, making sure it's free and good. And for the most part, a walkthrough is pretty simple. You're going to start at one end of the airplane, you're going to work your way all the way around, you're going to check all the flight surfaces, as you can see I'm doing on the right hand wing right now. Checking the aileron again, checking the connections, go ahead and take the tie down off. Throw him down, check the light bulbs, trailing edge, make sure it's good. And basically what I'm making sure is there's no dents over 1/4 of an inch on the edge of the aircraft. Maybe somebody hit a bird, something like that. Coming up to the front, check the radiator. It looks good to me. Go ahead and check in the cowling. Make sure there's no bird's nest, no rats, no cats. Alright. She looks good to me. I go in the back there, go grab some paper towels so I can run around front and check the oil real quick. This airplane had just been taken up before I had flown it, so it was important to grab something to save my little hands from being burnt off. Go ahead and take the oil stick out. So this airplane requires at least 5 quarts, and that's what it was at. It can't have more than 7 quarts, so we just triple check that and make sure that the oil level is good. See the double check there. It looks good to me. Tell you what, it was hot though, real hot. Just throw the paper towels out here, go back in the cabin. So the next part is checking the fuel quality and quantity, which is important to know during an emergency. So I go ahead and grab the fuel level checker here, go in and unscrew it. As you can see, it's just used by suction, so you stick it down into the hole that is on top of the airplane. And there are two separate fuel tanks on the Cessna 172, one on the right and one on the left. Each can hold 25 gallons for a maximum of 50 gallons. She only had 26 gallons in today. But as you can see here, all you gotta do is unscrew the cap, pull it out, set it aside, go ahead and stick your meter down in there. It's important to lay it level in the bottom of the fuel tank to make sure you're getting a proper reading. If you lay it on the side, it could be 1 or 2 gallons higher than what's actually there. So let's get ready to go fly. Clear prop. Start on. Beacon. What is the beacon light?
The beacon's right here.
Okay.
Yep.
Mag start. Here we go. Alright, now that we're all started up, I'm going to go ahead and taxi over to the active runway. So we got to do a run up to make sure that the engine is performing at a higher RPM. So we come up to the run up area and we make sure that everything is in check and intact. The first thing you do is make sure the brakes work, obviously. So get a little tap on the brakes and get settled in here, and then we'll go ahead and start the run up as I spin around. And the RPMs come up to about 1700. And then once we do all our tests, like testing the magnetos in the engine, we are ready for takeoff. So it looks like everything worked out with the run-up. So what we're going to do is come over to the hold short line. We go ahead and make our call out to Cherokee County Airport. Tell everybody that we're about to take off. We just say Cherokee County, Cessna Skyhawk 32 Echo, departing runway 5. And in this example, I come out to the runway and I line up on the center line. We were going over emergency procedures today, so the first thing we're going to do is an aborted takeoff. I go ahead and apply power, and we look for 35 knots to 40 knots. As you see, I come around here. And then go ahead and apply full power like I'm about to take off. And abort only about halfway down the runway. Pretty simple process. Slowly apply the brakes, let the speed bleed off after we've increased airspeed and pull off, just to see what the problem was. But in this example, there was no problem. We were just practicing. So now that we've practiced our aborted takeoff, we're going to come back down to the end of the runway again. Go ahead and spin up. We're going to do a real takeoff this time. So we apply full power. We go ahead and start going down the runway. We're going to be looking for 65 knots to rotate. Go ahead and pull back, and we are airborne. So one of the first things we practiced was a quick descent, a spinning descent. So as you can see here, the airplane banks to the left. And the idea is that we're able to pick a spot on the ground that is suitable for landing and descend at a very rapid rate. Now, in the video, it may not look like it, but we were dropping about 2,000 feet per minute. So, about an indicated airspeed of about 120 knots, something like 135 miles an hour, headed towards the ground. And this is very important if somebody has a heart attack per se on the airplane, or say there's an engine fire or there's smoke in the cabin, you need to descend very quickly and find somewhere safe to stop. This is the best way to do it. So now that we've finished that maneuver, the next maneuver is if there's a fire in the actual engine. And the way we do this is we bank the airplane slightly to the left, as you can see here, probably about 30 to 45 degrees, and push the nose straight down towards the ground. Now, in the video, it may not look that dramatic, but in the airplane, you can feel it very well. And the speed climbing, you can definitely feel it. So, again, speed comes up to about 100 and 140 knots. The idea about this is we're going to blow out the fire. Now, people say that oxygen feeds a fire. However, if you put a leaf blower to a candle, it's going to blow out. So that's the main idea. So we're on final approach for the runway. We have to line up in a certain pattern around the runway. It's basically like NASCAR, it's a bunch of left-hand turns. But anyways, the idea is that you come in at any angle towards the airfield and make a bunch of left-hand turns until you're in the pattern to go ahead and set up for a landing. So we're making our left-hand turn there for our base. And then once we're lined up right, you can kind of see that building off in the distance there. That's kind of our lineup marker for the runway. And then the next step is to say that we're landing. So this is the most important part. It's the most difficult part, is to come in for the landing. And as we bank to the left there, you're going to slowly see that the airport comes into view. And there she is. So depending on how the wind is blowing or what exactly our wind direction is, it depends on how we come in and approach the field. Today was pretty mild and not much to it, so I got to do quite a bit of the handling coming in for a landing. It was smooth and pretty painless.